Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is a 4-step guide that's going to help us solve multi-step equations. We are going to add one more step, but that won't be until later on next week. So we're just going to start with the steps, starting with step 1. And first step is one that we'll actually work on tomorrow, but we're just going to have it down in our notes today. It's to distribute. Okay. So on Tuesday, one of the IXLs you had was practicing using the distributive property, and you'll see why tomorrow. Okay. Step 2. Step 2 is going to be to combine like terms. The other IXL you had on Tuesday was practicing combining like terms, looking for variables and numbers that had the same exponents and then combining them. But I'm going to add something to this. So in parentheses, next to combine like terms, we're just going to say on the same side, and that's on the same side of the equal sign. So combine like terms on the same side. When I add that extra step, you'll see why that's important. Okay, step 3. Step 3 is to, at this point, we should have a 2-step equation. So this is going to be add slash for or, subtract, add or subtract to remove the constant. So we've done that before. You add or subtract to get rid of the +5 or the -8. All right, we're almost there. Last step. Because after we've done this, it should just be a coefficient left. So that's step 4. And that is to multiply or divide to remove the constant. Multiply, I'll just abbreviate that, slash divide. To remove the coefficient. Multiply or divide to remove the coefficient. So this is our guide. So I'm going to go ahead and point out that these 2 steps, step 1 and 2, these are used to simplify. We're not really, it's not in the process of solving. It's just getting your equation that's big and messy down to a manageable size. So this is simplifying. I put simplify there. And steps 3 and 4 are what we call transformations. That's where you're adding or subtracting, multiplying or dividing on both sides to really get rid of those numbers. So these are transformations. I kind of jammed the word in there, transformations. Okay. All right. So I think at this point, we can start solving. So let's start with an example. Let's say we have three terms. We'll start out pretty easy. N plus 6n plus 3 equals 16. Go ahead and write that down. N plus 6n plus 3 equals 16. And for the most part, everything is going to be on the left side that we have to remove. So look at both sides, but I notice that everything's on the left. Um, our first step, the first step is to distribute. But do you remember what distributing looks like? You multiply through, kind of like something like this. Do we have anything like that in this equation? Do we have parentheses or anything like that? We're going to worry about that tomorrow. So all of these are going to start with step 2, combine like terms. So we want to put together and shorten this equation as much as we can. So remembering what we did on Tuesday, what can we put together?
The like terms.
Well, what are the like terms? The n and the 6n. And it's not always the variables, but in this case it is. Sometimes it's the numbers. If I have a 7 over here and somewhere else in the equation I have a -4, I can put those together. But in this case, I can put together n and 6n. Those are my like terms. So let's do that. Let's take this n and combine it, or add it in this case, with 6n. Let me remind you of something though. What number goes in front of this n if it doesn't have it? It has a coefficient of 1. So now we're talking about 1 plus 6, 7. So if I combine 1n and 6n, it becomes 7n. And also bring down the plus 3. It still comes down. Bring down the equal sign and 16. Okay? So we just combine the like terms. It's usually as simple as that. Okay. So now if you did this correctly after combining like terms, you should have a two-step equation. And we do. So now we've done a ton of these. So let's just go through quickly. We'll get rid of the 3. And then bring down the 7n equals 13. 16 take away 3 is 13. Yes?
How do you use it from the second step?
Here? Oh, you just brought it down. It's on the other side of the equal sign. You just bring this down. Everything comes down for the next step. Okay? All right. So let's get rid of the 7 and 7 times n. That's dividing. What kind of answer are we going to get? Yeah, kind of not a nice one, but that happens sometimes. 7 doesn't go into 13. It'd be nice if this was 14, right? 7 does go into 14, but it's a fraction. That's okay. 13/7 is fine. Or, usually we won't need to, but sometimes, depending on the type of question we have, you do want to change this. So 7 goes into 13 once, and we have how much left over? Our remainder is 8. I'm sorry, 6. You're right. What am I thinking? Our remainder is 6. Sevenths. Okay. So that's our answer. 13/7. We'll go with that, but it is sometimes needed that we have to write this in a different format. Okay. So there we go. Let's do another one. You ready? Number 2. 2x plus 5 take away 7x. equals 15. Okay? Go ahead and write that down. And start thinking about what it is that I can combine. Look for variables first. Is there more than one thing with x? Are there more than one plus or minus something? Let's start looking. So what I'd like you to do is check in with your table partner and determine what do we combine? What goes together to make this shorter? So think about it a second and then talk to your partner about it.
7x and negative.
Good question. In this case, yes. Yeah, we would consider this negative 7x. Well, whenever we have a positive and a negative, it's subtraction. And since 7 is bigger, it'll give you a negative. Okay. So on the left side, which terms can I combine? Yes. Negative 7x and 2x. And some very good questions came up right now. Do we add them? Do we subtract them? Think of, excuse me, think of it as adding negatives. So think of it literally as adding 2 and negative 7x. Or you could also think of it as 2 take away 7. What do you get when you do 2 take away 7? Negative 5. So when I combine these two, when we combine these two, 2x and negative 7x, it's negative 5x. Okay? So all I did was combine 2x and negative 7x. I now have negative 5x. Bring down the plus 5. Bring down the equal sign and the 15. Okay? So we combine two things, 2 and negative 7, 2x and negative 7x. And now we have a two-step equation. We can do those. Those are easy. Minus 5, minus 5. What's that? I think it is. Because I'm going to bring down negative 5x equals positive 10. 15 and negative 5 is positive 10. And now I have to divide, don't I? And I'm going to divide by negative 5. And we all know a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So I get a negative 2. Okay. Any questions? Okay, the next one, number 3 here, has a few things we're going to combine. Write this down, please. 7m minus 4 plus m minus 8 equals negative 36. 7m minus 4 plus m minus 8 equals negative 36. Okay? Okay. So I'm relying that you're quicker at this now, at identifying what goes together. So can I combine 7m with anything?
You combine it with the, well, first you have to combine it with the m with the negative, and then you combine it with 7m.
Well, how can I combine m with 8?
Oh.
M's go with m's, and constant numbers go with constant numbers.
Can you combine 15?
Yes, that's what I'm going to have to do. In this case, I got to combine two separate things. 7m with m. And remember, what number do I put in front of the m if it's just m? 1. To remind me it's 1m. What else can I combine? -4 and -8. And I like the way you said that. Think of them as adding two negatives. So let's combine two separate things. Let's start with 7m and 1m. 7 and 1 makes 8m. And now we're going to combine -4 and -8. The sign in front of each one of these tells you what it is, negative or positive. So what's -4 plus -8? Well, first of all, will it be positive or negative? Well, you're thinking multiplying. Multiplying negative times negative is positive. But if you add two negatives, it's like, say you owe $4, then the next day you owe $8 more. How much are you going to owe? 12. So it's minus or negative 12. Okay. So we just combined that. You just got to find your like terms. Okay. So now if you did this correctly, you have a two-step equation, which I have. So let's go ahead and get rid of this minus 12. Positive 12. Positive 12. So again, remember I said, think of it as adding integers. So if I add a -4 with a -8, that's a -12. So you're always want to think of these when you're combining as adding positives and negatives. And the way you know if it's a positive, if it doesn't have anything in front or if it has a plus sign, that makes it a positive. But if it has a minus in front, it's a negative. Okay? All right. So let's continue. 8m, these will make 0. And now, again, I'm adding a -36 and a positive 12. Well, I know the answer is going to be negative because 36 is the bigger number and it's negative. So that should give me negative. And what's 36 take away 12? So it's -24. And now let's just get rid of, put it away. Divide by 8. And you get -3. How are we doing? Any questions? We got 3 more. Ready for number 4? Okay, number 4, here we go. Oh, actually, we have 2 more. Yay. Okay, number 4. This one I'd like you to try with your table partner. So the equation I'd like you to look at with your table partner is 15 plus 4n minus 6 equals -3. Start with figuring out what goes together. What can I combine? Okay, start thinking about that and take it from there. So I think most everyone recognize we got to put together 15, take away 6, or adding plus -6. However you want to think about it. These two go together. So 15 minus 6, 9. Bring down the plus 4n equals -3. Okay? Now we're going to get rid of the 9. They cancel. Now the big question. What do I do with this -3 and this -9? That I did see a few mistakes there. Yes, Arian.
Isn't 15 the bigger number?
Uh-huh. That's why it was +9.
Oh, never mind.
15 and -6 makes +9. I got that. And then to get rid of it, though, it's a constant. I want to remove it. I put -9. You add them. So this is -12. And now I have to get rid of this 4. So I get n equals, oops, started making it an m. How many 4s go into 12? So -3. I mostly saw -3s, by the way, so very good. Okay, any questions? So there's going to be a few equations like number 5 here. So write this down. You guys ready? This is the last one. 5/3 x plus 1 minus 1/3 x equals 9. Okay, I need your focus here, guys. So before you start, oh my God, we got fractions. They're being sparing with us. They're not too bad because I'm noticing I have common denominators. Okay? So, all right. So let's see. Same thing still applies. We have to figure out what to combine, what to put together. And as far as I can tell, it's the x terms. Yeah. Yeah, I got one positive, one negative. So really we're going to subtract. Okay? And the main math we have to do is figuring out what's 5/3 take away 1/3. Okay? So this is what we have to figure out. Think of this as like your thought process. 5/3 minus 1/3. Yes. Remember what we do when we're adding and subtracting with fractions. Okay? Remember what we do when we're adding and subtracting. Okay, so we end up with 4/3 x when we combine these two. You still have to bring down the +1, and it equals 9. Okay, so now we just have a fractional coefficient. We've dealt with those before. Let's get rid of the 1. And we get 4/3 x equals 8. Okay, well, we've done that before. Huh? Well, 9 take away 1, you get 8. Yeah. And then we have 4/3, right? Remember how we get rid of the fractional coefficient? It's a combination. Oh, yes. Yes, you multiply. Thank you. Well, what do we multiply by? 3. Yeah, we've done enough of these to remember that. So now it's 4x equals 24. 8 times 3 is 24. And then let's divide by 4. It's 6. Okay. So in the end, we get 6. Okay. So on today's assignment, I'm going to pass it out. You have to show your steps again, okay?